Guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of Project Rallycross. Today's going to be a bit more of an insight about the fabrication work. I'm going to talk about what Gordon Vincent has done to the body shell and what modifications I like to make on top of that to get the car the way that I want it. While I'm here, I'd like to say a massive thanks to everybody regarding the car and the video. My first video is a bit out of the water for me to do videos. I don't really like seeing myself on camera, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, massive thanks to all the messages I've had about the car from my friends and obviously people in on car forums and stuff, and all the subscriptions I've had. So if you like the videos, you know, please keep watching. I'm going to try and make them a little bit short if I can, but you know, people want to know the information. They've said that they want to know the information, so some of them may be a little bit longer than others, but I'm going to try and keep them down. And yeah, please subscribe, pass it on to your mates, you know, if they're going to be interested, and hopefully you keep enjoying the content. Leave a comment whether you like it or not, whether I can do anything better, and I'll try and do my best to please everybody. Alright, let's go and have a look around the car. First of all, we're going to have a quick look about what Gordon Vincent's done to the body shell, and then I'll talk about what mods I've had to carry out to the body shell. So let's go and have a look. Right, we'll start with the front of the car and then we'll work our way back. So the first mods are, as you can see, if you know anything about a Mark 6 Fiesta, the turrets are totally different. That's to allow the wheel tub, as you can see there. They are all sheet fabricated with strengthening die stamped into the metalwork, with a top ring to fit a WRC top mount, which is one of them. That allows you to adjust your camber and caster depending on what configuration you have it. The next mod Gordon carried out was, because it ran a YB and you had to run the engine higher, and it run the extract gearbox, which is a big massive gearbox, so the engine was actually slightly off centre. So he's cut that piece out so you can get your spanner in to undo the coil packs and take the spark plugs out. The next mod is the Escort RS Cosworth WRC engine mounts. One there and one there, which are standard items, I believe, and they're just trimmed up to suit the body shell. The engine mounts, which would have been mounted to the Cosworth. The next one is the front tubeless subframe. He has put threaded collars in there and there, to obviously allow it to bolt up. There are also mounting brackets there, as you can see, one there and one on the other side. So that's the 4 mounting points on the car. The next is inside the turret. Let me get a light. So as you can see, the front tubs, that's to allow fitment of 18-inch wheels. And as you can see there, that's the square box section. That's the original inner wing. So what they've done, they've cut that right back, as you can see. I'll try and get a picture up there. They've cut that right back and welded a sheet metal plate there to allow the wheel to travel up and down in the car better, so it doesn't smash the inner wing. And then all this sheet metal work here with the dimple dies there and there. That's been fabricated. This piece here that I'm pointing to, that has been arced backwards to allow you to run an 18-inch wheel, so when the wheels turn fully, it doesn't smash the inner wheel well. That's about it in here. You've got your front brackets for your compression struts, which are TIG welded to the car. Let's have a look at the shell. Obviously everything's the same mirrored on both sides. The roll cage, as we can see, we've already had a quick look around that. The tunnel was massive. The tunnel work is done in 2 sections. So where that line is, where my finger is there, that's all been bent in one section. Then all the all the front has been bent in one section. It's got all swage lines in it for strength. As you can see down there, that's an inner wheel well, why it's been moved back and arced backwards. That's a pedal box mount. You had your seat bar mounts, which is similar to these. That was welded into the shell on both sides. The cage itself, you see that sheet metal work there? The side plates there on both sides, there and there. And then the piece across the bottom there. What that is a floor that goes up and across, and bolted in there was the fuel cell. Behind the shroud it was a fuel cell, fire extinguisher, and the pumps and the filters. That keeps it all nice and sealed. For the rallycross, a polycarbonate window with a bracket work mounted down the side there on both sides. Like I said, it's mirrored and across the top. The rear wheel wells, they've been modified. So as you can see, that's a rear turret there, goes up just under the cage. And then that arc has been added on both sides. Again, that's to allow the travel of the 18-inch alloy, because obviously rallycross is very, very bumpy. So we'll go around and have a look at that. As you can see there, it starts there and goes up round, blends into the arch, round, and then all the way down, and that's where the rear bumper cutout fits. That comes off that tub, so you can see the join there where my finger is, where it's been overlapped and stitch welded. The bottom of the turret. The turret extensions, as you can see, it must be a bit of tube that they've welded into the shell, with the top ring on, with the bolts. There's a WRC anti-roll bar brackets. There's one of them on each side. That's been plated, just to keep, basically just to keep the dirt out. Everything's been plated. It's got the gussets on the shell. It's got the polycarbonate window in the back. Like I said, to keep all the front bits sealed. As it ran the vent through the rear quarter there. So it sucked air in, straight behind the shrouded section. The radiator fits in that aperture there with twin fans. So that was sucking, so the air would be forced in, it'd suck it out, and then it'll go out through the hole in the tailgate there. I think they kept it more shrouded for the dirt, so it kept the driver clean. The rear wheel well there has had a slight out arc extension, must be for wheel travel. The WRC top mounts, they come through the top, it's got a ring welded on top. Again, for the top mount, so you can adjust them. The roll cage there is down to the rear cradle. 1, 2, 3, 4 pickup points from the top, and there's 2 pickup points from the bottom, and then that's a whole rear section come on. So you just undo your prop shaft, your drive shafts, or take your wheels off. 6 bolts and the rear ends off. It's as simple as that. The rear slam panel that bolts onto there, that was a standard Escort Fiesta item, sorry. That was all rusty, so I built a tubular one. It's going to use the same brackets and bolts like on the front, so there's a rear bumper, that's all fabricated and done. Just extensions plated. Obviously the sill plates, 1, 2, 3. It ran a standard front slam panel. That was rusty, so that's gone. From Gordon Vincent's area. Now it ran false headlights that were just like fiberglass covers. So it ran a like a box section bracket that went all the way down there, across and then back up. That's also gone. I sold the original body kit, and that went with the body kit because he had the false headlights and stuff as well because he was into rallycross. Other than that, that's about it. There's certain stuff like all the gusset plates down there, they've been added, strengthening plates. But you basically get a gist of the car. So what we're going to talk about now is what I've done and what I've added to the car and why I've had to do it. So right, the first one, let's start at the front again. Right, that tube. I've had to raise the engine up, move it back, because I'm running Zetec Turbo instead of YB. So it's brought a number of headaches. So the first one I've had to do is move them 2 tubes. They went diagonally across the top of the engine here. And met up in the middle. So I've cut them out and re-welded onto the dash bar, which is what they were mounted on anyway. Added a strengthening gusset to it, so they're perfect now. The next one was a bulkhead, because the engine's moved up about 20 mil and also moved back about 9 inch. I'll tell you why it's moved back, because the sump on the Zetec, as you can see there, is about 100 mil deep. Let me show you the Cosworth one. Hang on. That's the Cosworth sump. You see how shallow it is at the front and how deep it is at the back. And that's a cross shaft there. So that's all built into the sump. So you can see why they made it shallow at the front. So it sits over the steering rack. The steering rack's there. So you can see how much further back it's moved. So by doing that, I've had a number of headaches. The first one was a bulkhead, which I've had to modify and move back. So all that has been built by me, sheet fabricated to meet up with a big tunnel. I've had to refabricate the steering shaft, if you can see that there. The engine mounts have obviously been remade, they're going to need to be sorted out again. The tubular front subframe, that's had anything that's red there, so you can see the tube at the back I'm pointed to there, the metal section going across here, the metal section going across here, that's all been added. I've had to trim the diagonal tubes there to meet up to the box section because they went straight across. And then you can see the bracket. So what I've done, I've got a Cosworth cross shaft and sump. I've cut the cross shaft out with all the retaining all the sump bits that I need, so I can mount. So I've made a mounting plate there, so that bolts up this side, travels underneath the sump. Then I've had to make a custom bracket to fit the Escort Cosworth front diff, as you can see there. There's also a double bracket on the back, so it ties in. There's also brackets on the back of that, all the way across. So now that is a rigid item. I'll post a picture up of that now. So I've had to modify that. So that's allowed me to move the engine back and allowed it to get the right height. That central panel, I widened it slightly, made it more central, so it just looks more aesthetically better. The front slant panel, I built that. Like I said, it used a box section. I've used the Mark 6 Escort as it's metal with plastic moulded over the top of it. So I've trimmed it there, made a custom bracket there, as you can see, and bolted that down to the original front slam panel. The front slam panel is now a tubular item. Hang on, let's see if we can get a picture of it. Which is now an item which bolts to the original chassis legs. I've welded two bosses onto that, and then it fits all the way across, and they're bolted on. So these original plastic items are very flexible. Now they're solid bolted in off the original mounting point. So like I said, the headlight can fit pretty easily. You know, they're solid. I think that's it with the front. Oh no, sorry. I've had to modify, because I've lifted the engine up, I've had to modify which is raised the dry shaft angle. So I've put 2 arcs in, which I believe they do on 3-door Cosworths when you want to run 4x4. So no biggie there. It ran an original, very similar to that, tubular box sections off 2 aluminium drop brackets, which I've got to get laser cut. So mine's very similar. I've added a support on for the front bumper, so it sits on there while you're bolting it up, makes it a bit easier. I've obviously had to modify the tunnel because the engine's moved back, the gearbox is raised up slightly. So all this has been modified, but most of it was rusty around there from where the mud had got in underneath the heat material, and then the exhaust had burnt it. So it's hot and cold, fatigued the metal, and it was all rusty. So all that's been cut out. So that's been plated. Because the transfer case has moved back, that's had to be refabricated. The door bars, they were welded into the body shell to meet current specs. They have now got to be bolted in, I believe. So I've changed them. They're all done. I had to fabricate brackets. This one I'm running like a seat bar bracket type thing instead of 2 bars like that one. So I can adjust, I'm going to put multiple bosses in so I can move the seat backwards and forwards once I've got the positioning. I don't know. Oh yeah, and then all the holes there. So you see all these grind bits here. So there. I mean, you can't see half of them, they're all under the dirt. But all these holes here, thousands of them. On a tunnel, I mean, half of them have been sprayed over. The tunnel, the back of the car, I'll show you the back of the car. On the tunnel, the back of the car here, in the car, up there, down the sides, here in the boot, hole after hole after hole. That's where all clips have been mounted. And because I'm running Z-Tech, it's a different configuration, everything's had to be filled and ground back smooth, or as smooth as possible. You know, it's going to be a track car, it's not going to be a show car. So all these have had to be done. So yeah, that's about it in terms of fabrication wise. I've had to weld a new lip on here to allow the body kit to sit onto. Of course it had cracked across there, so I wanted something I could fix into and rivet it in. So all these screw holes here down the side, now it's just screwed on at the minute, but they're going to be countersunk rivets. So it's going to be tiger sealed on, then riveted on. I've had to put 2 new sills on. You can't buy patent parts, so these parts are brand new from Ford. It's 380 quid a side, and that's with mates discounts. So obviously there's also a lot of work cutting them off, fabricating them. But as you can see, you know, it's going to need a tiny bit of filling. But I'll just try to smooth it off the best as I can. And they're all spot welded on. I've basically like spot welded it on with a MIG welder. So they're like virtually brand new. The door gaps are pretty decent with original panels, pretty nice, not too bad. Bearing in mind the rear quarters are different to the front wings there. And then the sill, there's a nice gap. That's a fiberglass door, so it's not the best, it's probably been smashed that well. The sill plate's got welded on for the sill stands on both sides. I'll show you the gap this side as well. Not too bad, not too bad. Not a body shop man. I'm not even a welder. Well, I am, but like I said, the gaps are pretty decent, pretty tight. That's going to be all bonded on and stuff. So yeah, that's about it in terms of body fabrication wise. Oh, one more. I had to do the steering column bracket. So I'm running either a Corsa B or Corsa C steering, I can't remember, one or the other. So that's been fabricated. This was originally 3 10mm tubes, 1mm thick tubes, with a L-shaped flat piece of metal, 1.5mm, with a digital dash mounted to it, a rose joint mounted for the WRC steering shaft. And you can see in Tommy Graham's video, when he's giving it some around the corner, it's flexing like hell. I mean, there must have only been an inch of weld on it at best. So it's had 3 20mm tubes, 2mm thick, with an adjustable bracket made. So you just pop these screws out, you can lift it up and down. If you have a look there, there's a bracket there. So that slides up and down as this moves up and down. And you can just stick a bolt through the back, just gives it a bit of extra security. And then it's just like plates that have been made for the seat bars and stuff like that. I've had to make new ones outside. And that's about it in terms of the fabrication I've had to do. The problem with mine was mainly getting the engine in. There's not a lot of difference in the dimensions between a Z-Tech and a YB. It's about 20mm from the centre of the crown. But as you can see, it's the height of the sump. The cross shaft runs through the sump. And obviously that needs to be set to get your centre of your drive shafts to the centre of your wheel arch, and also the height. And I think what they've done is, because it's a rallycross car, they've heightened the front up so it looks a little bit funny. Front end, it looks like it's really raised up. I'll post a picture now of a finished car. And what I want it's a track car, so I want it looking a bit better. And what they've done is basically kept the ride height, raised the ride height up so you can get the YB in, and then adjusted that to suit. But I've seen a lot of these cars with really bad drive shaft angles. So in an ideal world, they should be slightly pointing downwards with the car fully laden on the ground, if not straight, just to stop wear on the CV joints and stuff. But the way some of them are set up, they're driving uphill just to get the engine in at a decent height. So that's why we moved it back and shoved it out of the way. A lot of people do it. I've seen a lot of people do it. Not just with the Z-Tech engines and the YBs, I've seen them do it on Volvo 5-cylinders where they shoved it right back. Andrew Gallagher did it on his Focus. His engine's halfway under the dashboard, near enough. Makes it a bit of a bastard to work on under there, but you know, got plenty of room to get a socket in. get a spark plug out, job's a good one. So yeah guys, that's the fabrication side taken care of really. Right guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Next time will be, well, I think we'll have a little talk about the WRC components that are fit to the car in terms of suspension wise. So we'll look at stuff like your compression struts, your track control arms, uprights, drive flanges, don't even go there, suspension, what you can use, what you can get away with, what you could use or build yourself and get away with. There's lots of different things. What I will say guys is that the Cosworth world in terms of WRC and stuff is just at the minute, the prices are just crazy. I'm lucky enough to have collected stuff over a long period of time. Also, people, manufacturers of Cosworth bits, don't even go there, I tell you. There's certain parts, mate, that I pulled my fucking hair out over. You could easily give up. There's people that I've used, there's parts that I've bought that have been wrong, that have not been spec right, that are brand new. There's people that I've used that mess you around constantly. I'm not going to name names. You'll probably hear the name maybe crop up once or twice. But if anyone wants any advice, contact me via PM, and you know, on my Facebook page, which is Boost Boy Fabrications. You can talk to me there. I'll pass any information that I know on of good companies and bad companies. Because let me tell you, mate, there's a lot of bad companies out there that'll promise you the world and deliver nothing. So that's my word of warning to you. If you're going to take on a project with this, be careful who you use. Don't be blinded by the bullshit, basically. So what I'd like to say is thanks for watching again. Please subscribe, don't just watch. If you can help me out, that'll be great. You know, it's only a click of a button, it doesn't cost anything. And like I said, I'll hopefully be doing a new video soon. So cheers guys, thanks for watching.